I'm you, so we're gonna be having your stage 7 for your full stage revision, correct?
Okay.
Alright, so I hope that you're ready. Are you?
Mm.
Yep. Alright, first question here is, do you like to see two cars racing each other along the road? Do you like to see two cars racing each other along the road? Yes, no?
No.
No, I don't
I
like
don't
to
like to
see
see
two
two
cars
cars
racing each
racing each
other
other
along the
along
road.
the road
Why not? Why not? Because
because it's dangerous.
could you race me to the station and back without stopping? Could you race me to the station with and back without stopping? Yes, no?
No.
No, I couldn't race
I couldn't
you
race you
to the
to the
station
station
and back
and
without
back
stopping.
without stopping.
If you're stopping, stop.
Stopping.
Yep. If you run in a race against a horse, who'd win? If you run in a race against a horse, who'd win? If I ran
If I
in a
ran
race
in a race
against the
against
horse,
the
horse would win.
host win.
Do you think that when a member is someone who really realizes what he's doing at the time and realizes the consequences of his actions? Do you think that when a member is someone who he really realizes what he's doing at the time and really realizes the consequences of his actions? Yes, no.
Yes.
I think that
I think that
when a man
when a
murders
man
someone,
murders someone,
he really
he really
realizes
realizes that
what he's
what
doing
he's
at the
doing
time
at the time
and
and
realizes
realizes
the
the
consequences of
consequences of
his
his
actions.
actions.
Did you realize that in some large cities in the world there are more rats than people? Did you realize that in some large cities in the world there are more rats than people? Yes, no.
Yes.
I realized
I
that
realized that
in some large
in
cities
some large cities
in the
in
world
the world,
there are more
there are
rats
more rats
than
than
people.
people.
Have you got an ambition? Have you got an ambition? Yes, no.
Yes.
I've got an
I've
ambition.
got an ambition.
What's your ambition? What's your ambition? My ambition
My
is.
ambition is to study abroad.
Do you think you'll ever realize your ambition? Do you think you'll ever realize your ambition? Yes, no.
Yes.
I think
I
I'll
think
realize
I'll realize
my ambition.
my ambition.
Why? Why? Because I love
Because I
English
love English
and I want
and
to
I
improve
want to
more
improve more
in the
in the
future
future
by traveling
by
abroad.
traveling abroad.
Yep. When the past tense of a regular verb ends in did or ted or ded or ted, how do you pronounce the final sound? When the past tense of a regular verb ends in did or ted, how do you pronounce the final sound? When the past
When the
tense
past tense
of a regular verb
regular verb
ends in did or ted,
ends in ted or ted,
did or ted,
did or ted,
we pronounce
we pronounce
the final
the
sound
final sound
it.
it.
Give me some examples, please. Give me some examples, please. Included,
Included,
lasted,
lasted,
etc.
etc.
Etc. Yep. When the past tense of a regular verb does not end in did or ted, how do you pronounce the final sound? When the past tense of a regular verb does not end in did or ted, how do you pronounce the final sound? When the past
When the
tense
past
of
tense of
a regular
a
verb
regular verb
does not
does
end
not
in
end in
did or
did or
ted,
ted,
we
we
pronounce the final
pronounce the
sound
final sound
or
or
d.
d.
Yep. Daddy. Give me some examples, please. Give me some examples, please. Crust,
Crossed,
seemed, etc.
seemed, etc.
What does the verb to lead mean in Japanese? What does the verb to lead mean in Japanese? The verb to
The
lead
verb to lead
means
means michimiku
in
in
Japanese.
Japanese.
What are the three forms of lead? What are the three forms of lead? The three
The
forms
three
of lead
forms of lead
are
are
lead.
lead, led, led.
If I traveled north along the main road leading out of this town, where did it lead me to? If I traveled north along the main road leading out of this town, where did it lead me to? If you
If you
traveled north
travel north
along the
along
main
the
road
main road
leading out of the
leading out of
town,
the town,
it would lead you
it'll
to
lead you
Mactan.
to Mactan.
If it were nighttime and very dark and we came to an old house standing along the country which we thought might be full of ghosts, would you be willing to lead the way into the house? If it were nighttime and very dark and we came to an old house standing along in the country which we thought might be full of ghosts, would you be willing to lead the way into the house? Yes, no.
No.
Now, if it were
If it were
nighttime
nighttime
and very
and
dark
very dark,
and we
and we
came
came
into an old
into an
house
old house
standing alone,
and
standing
standing
alone
alone
in the
in the
country
country,
which we
which we
thought
thought
might be
might
full
be
of
full of
ghosts,
ghosts,
I wouldn't be
I
willing
wouldn't be
to
willing to
lead the way
lead the way
into the
into the
house.
house
Why not? Why not? Because
because
I'm scared
I'm
of
scared of you.
ghosts. Rah. Rah. Circuit ghosts. Yeah, would you say you'd led a fairly comfortable life, Terrible? Would you say you'd led a fairly comfortable life? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yes, I'd say
I'd say
I'd led
I'd led
a
a
fairly
fairly
comfortable life.
comfortable life.
Comfortable life.
Comfortable life.
When we're talking about the future, what do we use the word eventually? When we're talking about the future, when do we use the word eventually? When we are talking about
the future,
we use the word eventually. When we know that something is going to happen, but we don't know when. Give an example, please. I will eventually be able to speak English
very well.
Will it eventually rain again? Yes, it'll eventually rain again. When we don't know.
We don't know.
If you had a car and you didn't take care of it, what did eventually happen? If you had a car and you didn't take care of it, what did eventually happen? If I had a car and didn't take care of it, it would eventually break down. Yep. When a car breaks down, are you any good at making it go again? When a car breaks down, are you any good at making it go again? Yes, no.
No.
No, when a car breaks down, I'm not any good at making it go again. Do you think mobile phones all eventually have touch screens? Do you think mobile phones will all eventually have touch screens? Yes, no?
Yes.
I think mobile phones will all eventually have touch screens. When we are talking about the past, what does the word eventually mean? When we are talking about the past, what does the word eventually mean? When we are talking about the past, the word eventually means after all that, or in the end. Give me an example, please. He lived in different countries for many years, but eventually bought a house in England. Do you have to supply your own pen and paper for doing dictations, or does the school supply with them? Do you have to supply your own pen and paper for doing dictations, or does the school supply with them? I have to supply my own pen and paper for doing dictations. Do you know where that town gets its water supply from? Do you know where that town gets its water supply from? No, I don't know. Where this town gets its water supply from. Yep. If you put a piece of iron onto water, would it float? If you put a piece of iron into water, would it float? No. If I put a piece of iron
onto the water,
it wouldn't float. Float. It'd sink. Good. What are the three forms of sink? The three forms of sink are sink, sank, sunk. When did Titanic sink? The Titanic sank in 1912. Yep, that's correct. Do clouds float across the sky when it's a very windy day? Do clouds float across the sky when it's a very windy day? No, clouds don't float across the sky when it's a very windy day. They race across the sky. Give an example of the expression to be on the safe side. Let's catch an earlier train to the airport to be on the safe side. Do you always carry an umbrella in winter just to be on the safe side? Yes, I always carry an umbrella in winter just to be on the safe side. Mio, do you think that one day in the future one country will conquer all the others? Do you think that one day in the future one country will conquer all the others? Yes, no?
No.
No, I don't think that. One day in the future one country will conquer all the others. What is the difference between high tide and low tide? The difference between high tide and low tide is that high tide is when the sea comes into the land, and low tide is when it goes out away from the land. Did the Greek Empire come before or after the Roman Empire? The Greek Empire came before the Roman Empire. Who do you think is the greatest literary figure of today in your country? In Japan. So who do you think is the greatest literary figure of today in your country? I think
Haruki Murakami.
Murakami is the greatest literary figure of today in my country. How is your country governed? Your country governed? My country is governed by liberal democratic system. Yeah, I bet so. So what is the difference between a few and few? What is the difference between a few and few? The difference between a few and few is that a few simply means not many, whereas few often expresses the idea of not enough
not enough,
or fewer than
expected.
What do we mean if you say there were few people at the party last night? What do we mean if you say that there were few people at the party last night? If we say there were few people at the party last night, we mean that there were not enough people at the party, or that there were fewer people than we had expected. Would you feel sorry for someone who said that they had few friends like me? Would you feel sorry for someone who said that they had few friends? Yes, I feel sorry.
Yes, I feel sorry
for someone who said that they had few friends. Would you feel sorry for someone who said that they had a few friends? Would you feel sorry for someone who said that they had few friends? No, I wouldn't feel sorry for someone who said that they had a few friends. Few friends, that's correct. In that town, are there few good restaurants, or many good restaurants? In that town, are there a few good restaurants, or many good restaurants? In this town, there are
few good restaurants.
What is the difference between a little and little? What's the difference between a little and little? The difference between a little and little is that a little simply means not much, whereas little often expresses the idea of not enough or less than expected. What do I mean if I say I have little milk in my fridge? What do you mean if I say I have little milk in my fridge? If you say you have little milk in your fridge, you mean that you don't have enough milk in your fridge. Do you think you have little free time, a little free time, or a lot of free time? Do you think you have little free time, a little free time, or a lot of free time? I think I have
little
free time.
Not
enough. For this, I'm gonna be pressing my thumb on the table. What do we do? You're pressing your thumb on the table. Table. What does this sentence mean? I had to press him for the money I'd lent him. What does this sentence mean? I had to press him for the money I'd lent him. That sentence means that I had to keep asking him for it back. Can we always believe everything we read about famous people in the press? Can we always believe everything we read about famous people in the press? No, we can't always believe everything we read about famous people in the press. Do you think there should be some control over what the press writes about such people? Do you think there should be some control over what the press writes about such people? Yes, no?
Yes.
I think there should be. And there should be some control over what the press writes about. What the press writes about such people. Okay, let's move down. About how many steps would you have to take to walk from one end of that room to the other? About how many steps would you have to take to walk from one end of that room to the other? I'd have to take about
10
steps to walk from one
end
of this room to the
other.
What might happen if you stepped off a bus like this while it was still moving? What might happen if you stepped off a bus while it was still moving? If I stepped off a bus while it was still moving, I might fall. Do you have to walk up any steps to enter the building? Yes, I have to walk up some steps to enter this building. Would it be a big step for you to go and live in another country? Would it be a big step for you to go and live in another country? Yes, it would be a big step
for me.
It's not step, a big step
for me
to go and live in another country. If a couple go to a restaurant together, do you think they should each pay half the bill? If a couple go to a restaurant together, do you think they should each pay half the bill? No. If a couple go to a restaurant together, I don't think they should each pay half the bill. They really claim. Why not? Because men should what? Should treat the women. Because they have much better salary. Yeah, man. And about how much does your phone bill generally come to per month? About how much does your phone bill generally come to per month? My phone bill generally comes to about how much? 10,000 per month. What happens per month? Yep. What happens to a bill after it has been passed by Parliament? What happens to a bill after it has been passed by Parliament? After a bill has been passed by parliament,
Parliament.
it becomes
It
an act.
becomes an act.
What do we use the words used to and what does it mean? What do we use the words used to and what does it mean? We use the words
We use the word.
used to,
Used
used
to.
to, used to, used to,
Used to.
used to for a habit
For a habit of
or repeated action
repeated action
in the past,
in the past.
especially
When the
action
action is
now finished.
now finished.
Give an example, please. Give an example, please. I used to
I
go
used
to the
to go
cinema
to the cinema
a lot
a lot
when I was a
when I
child.
was a child.
Did you used to speak English better than in the past than you speak it now? Did you used to speak English better in the past than you speak it now? Yes, no?
No,
No, I didn't
I
used to
didn't used to speak
speak English better
English better
in the
in the
past
past
than I speak
than
it
I
now.
speak it now.
Than I speak
Than
it
I
now.
speak it now.
I used to
I
speak
used
it
to speak
worse.
it worse
Worse what? Worse than
than I
I
speak
speak
it
it now.
now.
Did you use a lot or did you used to eat a lot of sweets when you were a child? Did you used to eat a lot of sweets when you were a child? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, I used to
I
eat a
used
lot
to
of sweets
eat a lot of sweets
when I was a child.
when I was a child.
What do the letters B, C mean? Again, what do the letters B, C mean? The letters
The
B,
letters BC
C
mean
before Christ.
before Christ.
Yep. What do the letters A, D mean? What do the letters A, D mean? The letters
The
A,
letters 80
mean Anno
mean-
Domini.
Huh?
Anno Domini.
Anno Domini
From the Latin.
from the Latin
meaning in the
meaning
year
in the year
of our
of
Lord.
our Lord.
Our Lord.
Our Lord.
Although we usually think
we usually think
of this
this
as meaning after
as
Christ.
meaning after Christ.
Yep. When someone is on trial, do they have to promise to tell the truth in court? When someone is on trial, do they have to promise to tell the truth in court? Yes, when
Yes,
someone
when someone
is on trial,
is on trial,
they have to
they have
promise
to promise
to tell the
to
truth
tell the truth
in court.
in court.
So yeah, promise to tell the
to
truth
tell the truth
in court.
in court.
Yep. Is it wise to judge something before we give it a trial? Is it wise to judge something before we give it a trial? No, it isn't
No,
wise
it isn't wise
to judge,
to judge
something
something
before we give
before
it a
we
trial.
give it a trial.
Why not? Why not? Because it's better
It's better
to undergo
due process
of law.
of law.
Yeah. What do you like to see introduced in your country from abroad? What do you like to see introduced into your country from abroad? I'd like to see robots introduced into my country from abroad. Yep, let's move down. Can we use the words also as well and to in negative sentences? Can we use the words also as well and to in negative sentences? No, we can't use the words
also
as well and to in negative sentences. Which word do we use instead? We use the word either instead. Give an example, please. He doesn't watch
TV
or listen to the radio.
either.
Do you live in the school? No, I don't live
in
the school.
this school.
Do the other students live in the school? No, the other students don't live in that school either. Can you speak Chinese? Yes.
No,
I
I can't speak Chinese.
Can you speak Japanese? Yes, I can speak
Japanese.
What about me? Can I speak Japanese? No, you can't
No, you
speak
can't speak
Japanese
either.
Nice. Will you come here next Saturday? No, I won't come here.
I won't come here
next Saturday. Will you come here next Sunday? No, I won't
come here
next Sunday
either.
Yep, tell me something that you know you'll definitely do next weekend. Tell me something that you know you'll definitely do next weekend. I know that I'll definitely work next weekend. Yeah, so that'll gonna be your next few questions or last few questions just for this moment, right? So thank you, Mia, for taking this class. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.